Unrehearsed Creepypasta Narrations Part. I actually don't remember what number this is. I just double checked what number it was going to be, and then now I'm drawing a blank. It'll be in the title. It's called The Study. It came out September 24th, 2022. It's by Hannah Francheski. Okay. I should have known this would be a fucking scam. I thought as I sat, as I waited in the parking lot, while the clock digits kept increasing. We had been waiting 45 minutes for an event that was supposed to be starting. An event I knew nothing about. That's what happens when you're desperate for cash. You hop on Craigslist and head to the gigs section. Seeking male model. Friendly, female, escorting. Handyman, help moving. Need a team of strong people. Foot models. Paid clinical trial, $1,000. I stopped scrolling when I saw the 1K and clicked on it like an idiot. There was no information on what the study was about. The start time was set to 11 p.m. That wasn't strange enough. It also specified that no smokers, drug users, or anyone with any serious diseases were allowed to participate. Now, I was intrigued and also a bit hesitant to go through with this, but I was in a bind. Rent was past due and my credit card balance was higher than the money I had sitting in my bank account, $12. So, there I was, sitting in a dark garage, listening to the chatter of entirely too many other people who must have been as desperate as I was. 45 minutes turned into an hour, and an hour morphed into 2. Slowly, groups of people left one by one, and my girlfriend kept sighing with every passing. Okay, that's... I feel the story's unbelievable now. Just, you have a relationship, and you're about to not be able to pay rent. It doesn't seem very responsible. Stop criticizing people and just read the story. Okay, fine. Are we going to sit here all night? She asked me, looking up from her phone for the first time since we had gotten there. I hope not, I replied while leaning back in my chair and admiring her beauty. Taylor was the most beautiful woman I had ever been with. Sometimes I didn't understand why she was with me at all. I feel like they aren't coming, her voluptuous lips said to me. Okay, let's just give it a little while longer. Maybe they're trying to weed out some people. We've been here for 2 hours, Romy. I do have a life, you know. How could I forget? Taylor had an abundance of friends, in addition to her large, tightly knit family. Her comment had made me feel insignificant, even though I'm positive that's not how she had meant it. Okay, so leave. The words left my mouth entirely too loud and spiteful. Then I meant them to. What the hell? Her eyes narrowed. I just need this money. I can't leave yet. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound so bitchy. She leaned back into the passenger side chair and kicked her feet up on the dashboard. Her legs were covered in goosebumps. Her skirt fell down toward her upper thigh, showcasing her plethora of well-hidden tattoos. You better make it up to me then, she said, while I was staring at her thighs. Just as I was about to lean over and kiss her, I saw a face in the reflection of the car window directly behind her. I jumped a little and the face smiled back at me. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you, a woman in her dying years said, with a delightful smile plastered all over her face. She had some new age chakra bullshit necklace around her neck, and it made me cringe. No worries, I replied. How long has she been standing there? I came over here to thank you for waiting so patiently. We're about to begin if you two ladies want to come inside. Her eyelids were lumpy, and far too purple than they should have been. We made our way toward the door, and other people were going into. I remember thinking that the door was really unique looking. It didn't quite match the industrial feel of the parking garage. The door was painted emerald green and a thick black doorknob that looked to be made out of stone. It shut behind the group, and in front of us made the whole gang garage echo and shake. Once inside, the fluorescent lights above felt like Tabasco sauce leaking into my eyeballs. Who needed lights this bright? They made the same faint hissing noise as the one in the parking garage, and it made me want to scream. As we progressed down the hallway, the lights behind us somehow turned off, casting shadows in all directions. I looked back and could no longer see the entrance, making me feel uneasy and a bit claustrophobic. There were 10 people already inside, a few of whom I had already seen while waiting. They were lined up in front of a white table, grabbing some paper and pencils. We jumped in line to do the same, eager to see what was happening. When we reached the front, I was handed, to my surprise, a waiver. What the fuck? The man who handed it to me had dark, beady blue eyes and a smile so friendly that it made me away. Just so nobody sues us, he said, with a little chuckle that made my skin crawl. He reminded me of a used car salesman, untrustworthy and overly enthusiastic. We signed the forms and then took a seat in one of the folding chairs that were all assembled into a circle, making us face each other awkwardly. The decaying woman from earlier took a seat next to the smiling man. He looked very proud of himself, and I wanted to know why. To my horror, he put his hand on her knee and gave it a little squeeze. We all just sat there in complete silence. Thank you all for coming. My name is Claude, and this is Wendy, the man said finally, taking his hand off Wendy's knee and reaching for the pile of papers that sat on the floor. Out of over 100 people that drove down here tonight, you are the only ones that waited for over an hour for a Craigslist gig that promised you $1,000. He looked amused, and I hated him. Some of us would have waited longer for that kind of money, one of the strangers said. He wore a pair of bright red Nikes and was tapping them anxiously on the floor. I remembered him from the parking garage because he had been chain smoking while writing frantically in a journal. What exactly have we gotten ourselves into, chimed in another. I don't like to mislead people, so I'll get straight to the point. If you aren't interested in the activity, you may leave, but once the study has begun, the doors will lock. His dark eyes glistened as he looked around the room. We will be drawing approximately 3 vials of each individual's blood. 3 people got up as soon as he spoke the word blood and basically ran out of it. I didn't blame them one fucking bit. We knew nothing about these people. Did they even know how to draw? I should have left. I should have walked out and never looked back. But I needed that money. My girlfriend's elbow jabbed me in the side to get my attention. We're leaving, right? She said, grabbing her purse off the ground and standing up. I remained seated and looked up to her. I need this money, babe. I can't. disclaimer. Don't ever do something like this in real life, people. At no part of this, even if it's not a creepypasta, is it going to end well. Also, if your significant other is thinking about doing this, no, don't let them. And if they insist on staying, then, well, get your ass out of there. I don't want any of you listening to this to ever get hurt, so just, no, it's terrible. Don't do these things. So you're going to let these random people you know nothing about stick a needle in your arm. Her face was turning red, making big green eyes light up her face like a Christmas tree. Easy for you to say you aren't about to be kicked out of your apartment. I don't exactly have another option here, Taylor. You can leave. I won't blame you one bit, but I gotta stay. And how the fuck am I getting home? She demanded, tears forming her eyes again. I handed her my car keys from my pocket and placed them in her hand. The anger disappeared from her face, and a look of genuine concern took over. I don't want to leave you, Roman, she said. Why don't you guys just live together at this point? I mean, I'm so confused, she said, sitting back down and handing me the car keys. A familiar pain that can only be described as guilt welled up inside me. Taylor was willing to endure this madness for me. She didn't need the money. Her mother paid her rent, so she could focus full-time on school. I tried not to resent her for that, but sometimes my jealousy got the best of me. We couldn't have been more different if we tried. Up until recently, I'd been working 50 hours a week just to afford my shitty apartment. Then I got sick with the worst cold I'd ever had in my entire life, which then turned into bronchitis, and a fun sinus infection to top it off. The sickness lasted around 3 weeks, and I was still sniveling. My manager took it upon himself to fire me for being absent so much. I didn't have health insurance, so I couldn't get a doctor's note. I had begged and pleaded him not to let me go, but he didn't give two shits. When you're a telemarketer, all they care about is money. If you can't show up and make your calls, then you're no good. I hated that job, but it paid for my housing and food, which I sort of needed if I wanted to live. My face became hot, and the desire to stay escalated, thinking about my situation. Sometimes bad decisions are made out of stressful thoughts. You know? You should just leave with your partner and go to, a less stressful environment, like Dairy Queen. Yes, you may not have much money, but you can buy the cheapest possible ice cream. You guys can share it, and you can talk about it in a relaxing environment to make better life choices. I looked around and wondered what reasons everyone else in the room was staying in their seats. Some of them looked far worse off than me. There was a woman across me whose skin that resembled the inside of a peeled potato before you cut off the brown spots. Her clothes were falling off her bony limbs, and when she opened her mouth I could see her decaying teeth. Track marks decorated her arms despite her attempts to hide them with bracelets. What's the blood for? Who are you people? The red Nikes wearing man asked in one breath. He was tapping his foot faster now. So fast I was worried his leg might fly out of its socket. The old woman smiled in a way a grandmother would, while looking down at her grandchild and responded, "We are an organization that assists in healthcare studies and need the blood for research." By the way, how big are the vials that you're taking? Something about the way she said research made me want to run far away from here. Do you not have any sense of self-preservation? I think it was the way they lit up, like she was really excited to poke us with needles. She rubbed her new age necklace with her thumb, in careful strokes, back and forth. I swear she was whispering something to herself. My eyes were glued to her mouth, trying to make out what she was saying, but it was just too quiet. How do we know you're actually going to pay us? Said the potato skin woman. The old woman reached down and grabbed the suitcase that had been sitting underneath the chair. She placed it on her lap and opened, revealing the most money I'd ever seen at one time. It's time to begin now. Does anyone else wish to leave? Wendy asked the group, shutting the briefcase and placing it immediately back under her desk. The dark-eyed man stood up, walked over to the door, and locked it. The lock made the most sinister sound I had ever heard, and my heart rate instantly skyrocketed. There was no turning back now. No, you haven't started yet. Just leave now. Just that part where you say it's never, it's like, oh, it's too late. No, it's never too late. Get the fuck up and go. Just the longer you wait, the more this. We require all participants to remain seated. We will come to each of you with the supplies. They walked around and gave each of us a long, thin piece of silk fabric and a bottle of water. We were then instructed to tie the fabric around our heads like a blindfold for privacy purposes. I'm a pretty chill person, and I don't scare easily, but once that blindfold was on me, I couldn't stop the panic. Sometimes panic exists for a reason. Yes, senseless panic over nothing. Still probably actual reason, even if you're not acknowledging it. Also, not very good for your heart to have constant panic attacks. That being said, usually it's some sort of impetus to, tell you to have some sort of reaction, to do something. It's prompting you to take some sort of action, which is to get the fuck out of there. But then again, why the comments? Just stop criticizing. No, they fucking deserve to criticize this situation. I'm not gonna fucking shut up that. No. This is fucking stupid. No. That's kind of what happens a lot. No! Just absolutely fucking not. Anyone listen to this, don't ever do something like this. But then again, I would assume anyone listening to this would never do this to begin with, but still, really? The worst part of the clinical silence was not knowing when it was going to be my turn. Were they going to draw my blood, or were they going to kill me? Was this all some conspiracy to torture us? Was this actually a massacre? Even worse, they had put on some strange meditation music for us to listen to, as if I could even begin to relax now. She has track marks, I heard Wendy say in hushed tones. We specifically stated in the ad that you were in drugs, you could not participate. It was Claude now. He sounded upset. We can't be responsible for any unusual side effects that may occur due to your lack of ability to read. Damn, Claude was an asshole. Here's the thing, if you're drawing blood from a person, at what point is it going to have some sort of negative effect on them? Because that implies that you're maybe going to do something to their blood and put it back in them? I shifted in my seat back and forth. What did he mean by side effects? Then out of nowhere, amongst my spiraling thoughts, I felt a hand on me and I jumped. Laughter. You fucking pricks. I felt the tourniquet fasten around my arm and a slightly pinching sensation. I hated getting my blood drawn. I don't think really anyone enjoys that. I could never watch and almost always threw it backward. Blood? They're probably not even drawing with fucking needles, are they? Blood in general made me forget how to breathe. Well, yeah, you're supposed... When you have blood drawn from you, you're supposed to make sure to take long, continuous, deep breaths. Because when you hold your breath, your blood doesn't flow correctly. Granted, it still flows, it just doesn't flow as well, and it makes it harder for the doctor to get blood for samples, so it's just more cooperative to just try to be relaxed and take steady breaths. Keep myself from vomiting all over whoever was holding on. Just as my stomach was about to betray me, the tourniquet loosened. I exhaled. I was alive. They didn't kill me. Anytime you have to say that statement to yourself, you have made bad life choices. Granted, it would be worse if you weren't alive to say it, but I'm just like, if you're in a situation where saying such a thing ever has to happen as your good case scenario, bad choices were made. They told us we could take our blindfolds off and drink some water. Could I have some I understand water's necessary for hydration, but I have some Pepsi too? Heck, you're gonna take some blood out, I need some red meat and some caffeine. After a few minutes, we were each handed a large wad of cash, tied neatly in several rubber bands. I watched as each person snatched the money from Claude, their faces absolutely glowing. Taylor was the only one that didn't react that way. Instead, she had yawned and crammed the cash in her purse haphazardly. I dropped her off at her apartment soon afterwards. Both of us were too tired to talk much or at all. I held her hand instead and rubbed my thumb back and forth across her smooth skin. After I kissed her goodnight, I went home and fell into the deepest sleep of my entire life. I woke the next day feeling like I had taken 20 shots of vodka the night before. My vision was all blurred and my limbs felt like they were entirely red. I managed to make it to the bathroom just in time to projectile vomiting in the shower. It burned like fire on my throat and made tears well up my eyes. When my eyes dried a bit, I saw that my vomit was black. Fucking black. This couldn't be normal. Yeah, if your fucking blood is coagulating while it's still... you shouldn't even be alive. You should be dead. That's not something that happens to a living human being. I thought. Oh, I'm glad you had a calm fucking reaction to this. I had never heard of such a thing. I racked my brain trying to think of everything I ate or drank yesterday, but none of it was blood. No, that's... There's nothing you eat that would change... No. No. My heart was thudding in my chest so hard I thought it might bust out of my ribcage. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. What was wrong with me? Everything. I remembered coughing up some green mucus when I had the sinus infection. Was that just my body's... No! Still recovering? Surely that... You more... God fucking damn it! Had to be it. I shuffled to the living room, leaning on the walls to guide my weak body, and collapsed on my old beaten-up sofa. A distraction. That's what I need. I turned on the TV, and what happened next I will never forget. An image of one of the people who had done the study from last night was plastered on the SF Bay News. SF must be San Francisco. So this is in California. The Nike's wearing man. His face was drastically different from the face of last night. He was smiling in this picture, and looked so put together. I unmuted the TV to hear why his face was in front of me. Breaking news! Local man found dead on Treasure Island. The cause of death appears to have officials stumped, but one witness thinks it's poison. Stay tuned to find out why. Go to the hospital! I was suspended in time with the swarming thoughts haunting poison. Surely wasn't. Oh my god! Related. They drew some blood. That couldn't have killed them. Man, I suppose if they did it incorrectly, it could have. But he walked out of the room with all of us. Stuff doesn't affect you immediately! Then again, if you went in the past, people wouldn't believe you that certain types of rocks are radioactive. Oh, this rock emits an invisible energy wave that you can't see, and it will murder you. Oh, what do you mean this plutonium is bad? Seriously. Fuck's sakes, people. Then my mind flashed back to the blindfolds and my heart stopped. What were they trying to hide? One thought became louder than all the rest. They weren't drawing our blood. They were injecting us with something. Something that killed one of us. Well, if this actually happened, I hope everyone survived. Everything turned out hunky-dory and everything's perfectly okay. But I really doubt that. I can't remember the name of it. I'm trying to scroll back up so I can see the title of the story. Okay, the study by... Okay.